Celebrity, true or false?
You can't handle the truth.
All right, Celebrity True or False with Jason Schwartzman, one of the stars of Mountainhead, available right now on Max. Your cousin, Sofia Coppola, introduced you to the Rushmore casting director at a party, and that's how you wound up in that film.
True. But, I mean, do you want me to expand on that?
Please.
True. I was at a, my grandfather was a composer, and they were celebrating his music and in San Francisco, and there was a party, and they were playing his music, and it was, and there's a woman named Davia Nelson who has a great show called The Kitchen Sisters. If you've ever heard of it, it's a very long-running show. Lives in San Francisco. Davia is not a casting director, but had been tasked with being sort of the San Francisco scout for possibly someone to be in this movie, and they had one in Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, London. Anyway, I was at this event. I was not an actor. I was and I am a drummer. I'm still a drummer.
Yes.
But I was not an actor. It was not my
At all. That wasn't your bag.
No, I did not think that was my bag. No, and neither did my friends. You know, I was not I was like I wasn't the guy you'd think would be there. So anyway, but yes, I did love. I was precocious, I feel like. Okay. I was odd. I was terrible in school, in science, for instance, but I loved it. So it was like they didn't know what to do with me. You know, it's like, anyone want to come up and volunteer? I was like, yes. They're like, anyone else? So my cousin and I did have a crush on a older lady at the time, and I had directed a play, actually. And my cousin was talking to Davia. They were friends, and she said, "What are you working on?" She said, "I'm doing a film about a 15-year-old who is a precocious theater director in love with an older woman." And she said, "That sounds like my cousin Jason." And she said, "Really? Well, where's he?" And she said, "He's right over there." And actually, I was at this event. I had rented a tuxedo with tails because I'm just so uncomfortable. What am I going to do? No. So I rent the thing with the tails, and then I walk over, and she said, I heard that you're interested in plays. Would you ever consider auditioning for a movie?" I thought it was very weird, and not to slight drummers, but I was used to people coming up to me and saying, "Hi, is your singer here?" And so you're not used to you're not. You're not. Sure, right. I'm not used to being like the person they're talking to at that time. I wasn't. So she's talking to me about auditioning, and my honest reaction was, yeah, I can. The singer and the bass player in our band are really good actors, and they
suggested them.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you wound up getting the audition, and
so I ended up anyway doing it, and it was the first time I ever auditioned for anything in my life. I made a blazer, I made a patch, my own, like my hand done patch, and I went in there basically not thinking I would get it, but thinking it would be a crazy story to tell my friends. I skipped school that day, and I got a parking ticket, and and anyway, but I ended up meeting Wes Anderson at this audition. He was 27. I was 17. I had just started my senior year of high school at Windward here in Los Angeles. And
damn.
Yeah, and literally it happened so quickly. And we met, and I met a person who changed my life instantly.
Wow.
You know?
Look at that picture right there of the two of you guys. And it was the first of 6 movies that you've done together, correct?
He's also the first person at that age, I don't know if you ever had anything like this, but like an adult a young adult who actually cares what you have to say about stuff, who's not like your mom or you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Like to have somebody like, well, what music do you like? And what do you think about something? It means a lot as a young person to have someone like that. So
wow. Well, speaking of your mom, Jason Schwartzman,
yes.
I mean, we know it's true that your mom is Talia Shire, correct? Is it true you never watched The Godfather till you were 17?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
What? Okay.
Well, it was. I mean, it wasn't like we were. I mean, if she wasn't watching it at the house, and
she's not like you want to
check this out. No,
check this out. But
no,
I mean, but
she's very
obviously
humble.
Well, Francis Ford, that means is your uncle.
Yes.
So that he was never like, hey, you should see this.
No,
nothing,
it wasn't a part of the. No, it wasn't a part of. I know it sounds strange to say, but we didn't. That wasn't a big part of my life. My mom actually was also Adrian in Rocky,
Right.
of course. And she, for better or for worse, I didn't even really know what she did until I was like 11. Literally in the 80s, we'd be walking around LA and people would say, "Yo, Adrian," to her. And she'd say, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't," because she's so shy. And I say, "Mom, everyone keeps calling you this person," and she's like, "I don't know what it is." But she never really.
She didn't clue you in?
Didn't come clean.
Wow.
Yeah, for a while.
So when did you see Rocky?
It would have been Rocky 4, even though I was alive for the other ones.
Rocky 4 was your first Rocky movie?
Yeah. Oh, 3, maybe 3.
Mine too.
Oh, no, mine was 3 because I remember the fight on the beach being really. I was like, why are they yelling at each other on this beach after they just went running? But I loved it so much. I was a big Apollo Creed fan,
Well, who isn't?
But I remember being a little kid. I've never said this before. I went to the. I didn't grow up on film sets. It was not like that. But the one time I got to go to a film set was Rocky 4, one of the big fight scenes. Mm-hmm. That I don't really remember. But in the hotel, I remember walking in and Dolph Lundgren was there. And my mom said, "This is my son." And he goes, "This is your boy?" And he put his hand on my head, and it was like the Michael Jordan, like the Spike Lee, he had my whole head in his hand, and it was such a. I don't know the last time you've had a hand cover your head, but it's such a great feeling and so weird at the same time. You're like, wow, I'm this little. Like I am, this guy's huge. It was amazing.
He didn't tell you he was going to break you, did he?
No, he didn't say he'd break me, but
that would have been great.
I would have. I would have.
Wow.
He couldn't have. At that age, you're too loose. You can't break me.
Yeah. Last one for you. True or false? You are still starstruck around Bill Murray, even though you've worked around a number of projects throughout the years.
True. Yeah, very true.
But you met on Rushmore, correct?
Yes, I did.
Were you aware of who he was?
Yeah.
And his Bill Murray-ness? Yeah. I'm
Ghostbusters.
Okay, great.
These movies meant a ton to me, and it's sort of like people like Bill Murray. That's like a dollar bill. It's like you've always seen a dollar. You only know he's like in your life as it's a fact that this person is he's not even really human. He's beyond human, and he meant a lot to me. Those movies. What about Bob? I mean, anyhow, starstruck would be I guess the way to say it, but I can't believe when he says my name.
That's starstruck.
Yeah, I guess it's starstruck. Okay, but there you go.
That is the definition of starstruck,
and
Jason.
I mean, I guess it's not starstruck, but every time I ask him for his autograph, I'm like, I can't stop shaking.
Do you have a good story of a Bill Murray story?
Here's what I'll tell you.
Okay.
He doesn't live here, but I've known him now for many years. But when you die, they say, if your life flashes in front of your eyes. Mm-hmm. I could say that, maybe some of the things that will flash before my eyes are with him. Because he lives life in an amazing... I have stories that are they only would happen. Yeah, but one story that's not... It's going to sound like a downer, but it's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Good. I remember one time we were stuck in a car together... in traffic in the back of a car, and I just, after a long time, just started to ask him about comedy. He was in a mood where he was very giving and he basically would just really talking about and I realized while he's saying this, I'm like, this is I'm getting the this is like the secret to
The secret
the
sauce.
secret sauce.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is like this, the recipe. And I just remember, I was like, while he was saying it, I just kept thinking like, don't forget this. Remember that. Oh my God, that's incredible. Oh wow. And then, anyway, then he fell asleep next to me, and I remember just looking at his hands and going like, yeah, look at the Venkman's hands right there. Yeah. And anyway, long story short, I don't remember a single thing he said to
Oh
me.
no, come on.
I just remember the car ride. But maybe isn't that best? Maybe it was too much probably to process. But he's a great person, and he loves sports.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Charleston River Dogs.
So it's true that he doesn't have a number. You can't contact him, right? Like, is that basically it? Or?
Yeah, it's
He just shows.
He shows, but when he does,
My God.
it's the best. He said something to me that was changed my life. He said, I don't love to work, but when I work, I want to work hard. And I just thought that was like, I've always thought that was just the best way to be. It's like, if you're going to do it as, and leave it out there. And it just like his commitment to, and he's one of the smartest people I've ever met. And his hands are great. I love him. Hi, Bill.
By the way, you not remembering anything like that sounds like your cousin's movie of what he was whispering in Scarlett Johansson's ear.
I
right?
know.
Have you ever asked her about that?
No. What do you think that was? I never want to ask the question that is like.
But you have access here.
I don't know. Does she even know?
That's amazing.
Because I don't know.
I think Scarlett Johansson has said that she won't reveal it, and it really wasn't anything, spectacular.
Wow. I know. It is an amazing moment, though, right?
It is that, and we're still talking about it. It's kind of like The Sopranos ending. Like, what happens,
Yeah.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.